my World War II project Blitzkrieg, or Lightning Rod. Blitzkrieg is basically a German battle tactic which they would take all their forces and concentrate it on one specific area, and then send in smaller forces to overrun the resistance left. And then they would continue doing this over high-value targets over a country, and then eventually taking out all of their forces or bases. So then they pretty much have no defenses left, so they could just turn that into one of their countries they've overrun. And now I will be presenting to you the short history of Blitzkrieg, like basically who invented it, why they invented it, and so forth. Then I will be presenting a short timeline of Blitzkrieg, like for example, the first time it was used, and so forth. Then for my final subtopic, I will be presenting all of the vehicles and forces used in Blitzkrieg. For the history of Blitzkrieg, the creator of Blitzkrieg was a general named Heinz Gurdon. He was born in 1888 and died in 1854. He died at the age 65, and he too, Adolf Hitler, was one of the most greatest leaders in armored warfare. He came up with the original idea of Blitzkrieg, and so he was immediately promoted to the highest rank in the German army, which was Chief of General Staff of the army. And then after that, the first time they tried to use Blitzkrieg was on September 1st, 1939, which was also known as the invasion of Poland. The invasion of Poland was ecstatic news to Adolf Hitler after realizing how easy it was to overrun the city. So he decided that if they were to use Blitzkrieg for the rest of the campaign over Europe, that would work, and so that's what they did. And now for the short timeline of Blitzkrieg. But before I go into that, the reason why they created Blitzkrieg was because Germany did not want a long war in Europe, so they decided to run a series of short campaigns across Europe. After that, they decided that after they would try and overrun Russia, but Russia had a similar idea. So the very first place that Blitzkrieg was used was on September 1st, 1939, Poland, also known as the invasion of Poland, like I said earlier. The invasion of Poland was the very first time having use of Blitzkrieg. And after Poland was Denmark on April 1939. Then after Denmark was the Netherlands. Then from the Netherlands was Norway. Then after Norway, they went to Great Britain and tried to launch a massive attack on Britain, but unsuccessfully they did not succeed. So there, they went to try and launch an attack on the Soviet Union. Then during the attack on the Soviet Union, the first attack was a success, driving back the Soviet forces all the way to the gates of Moscow. Then after regrouping, they decided to declare war on the United States, along with Japan. But with them declaring war on the United States, now the United States would have an involvement in the war in Europe. Then afterwards, Germany decided to launch a final offensive on Russia to try and overrun the resistance there. But then Russia launched a massive counterattack on Germany, therefore trapping and wiping out the rest of the forces in Germany. Afterwards, Germany was put into the immediate defensive mode, and so they were looking for any possible way they could get a fighting chance in the war. So Hitler devoted a great deal of money and efforts into his scientists to look for some sort of super weapon to overrun the Soviet and American and British Allied forces. And here I have a short keynote which has a few pictures to show you for all the things. Right here is a Panzer tank. Here is a picture of a Panzer tank, one of Germany's most well-known vehicles for Blitzkrieg. And this was a German dive bomber used a lot in most of Germany's attacks of Blitzkrieg. A dive bomber would fly up high altitudes and then quickly fly in and then drop a bomb on some specific area. And here are a few German soldiers in motorcycles with a sidecar. And they would be the most mobile transportation for the soldiers, trying to catch up with anything else. And here is one of Germany's ideas for some sort of super weapon to turn the tides of the war. It was a kind of satellite which would reflect the gamma rays of the sunlight into one specific area. Here is another idea that Germany came up with, would be some kind of wind gun to launch a tornado, sort of gust of wind into the air to try and wipe out any attack fighters. And this was one of Germany's ideas of launching a spaceship that could carry a powerful bomb into the atmosphere and then fly around the world to deliver its deadly payload to any country in the world. Because back then, they had no way of transporting anywhere within months of travel. And here is a short video about Blitzkrieg and what it was like.
Space of 90 minutes. The Dutch will not forget. Meantime in Belgium, the whole force of Nazi Blitzkrieg is starting to cross its neutral border. The main German attack was directed at the Outer Canal Meuse River line, the anchor of which was Fort Even a Nail, a modern and seemingly impregnable fortress. The Germans had secretly built a replica of the mighty fortress in Czechoslovakia and had rehearsed the attack until they knew every detail of the fort's construction and its every weakness. When the real attack came, it was foolproof. Parachute troops, dive bombers, flamethrowers, specially trained engineer battalions, all working together as a well-trained team. They knew exactly where to cross the river.
As you can see, Blitzkrieg wasn't just a random flank attack, but a strategic, specific attack on certain areas, like I said earlier. And finally, to conclude this presentation, I would like you all to remember where Blitzkrieg was first used and who the creator of Blitzkrieg originally was. And is there any questions? Thank you for